Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me fucking Doug.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate Cian.
This elephant has 4 legs. Joe Russell's 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and it says, "Chuck your law, big dirty tricolor."
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katie Harvey.
I won't want to sign just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows.
So we put in like 6 months planning for this WrestleMania weekend. Probably the most ambitious Mania we've done in the 8 years of Low Blows, and very stressful at times. WrestleMania it's called. It's Mania's known to bulldoze the lives of those involved. I talked about it on Low Blows before. We had the WrestleMania curse for years, like where it was like relationships would break up, like of one of the team members in WrestleMania season. It was absolutely mental, like just because it's that busy, just because it's that intense. This year it was one of those where we were like, we were doing a whole weekend of it, but at the same time we knew it was going to be grand because Becky Lynch was going to be in the main event, and we knew what was going to roughly happen at the end of it and how it was going to end up, and it was going to be great. But it was still fantastic. There's no better feeling than at the end. I posted a picture up on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and it was just like, it was a legit picture where I'm just like, it's like, and it's like a reminder, like, no matter how stressful it gets, like we've done a lot this year with the network, the VOD, and everything, like changing around basically what Low Blows is and basically increasing my workload anyway tenfold. And you have ups and you have downs, but then you get moments like that and you're like, that's why I do this. That's like right now, this moment, everyone getting to celebrate it together and just be a part of something really, really special. That's why we do it. So thank you guys for coming out and supporting. I can confirm now it was our busiest night in Buskers on the Ball ever on Sunday. And then we had Saturday, which was great crack as well. More hardcore than we thought because it ran until like 5 a.m. It was fucking insane. So to the people who stayed and did the late shift on Saturday and Sunday, you have my undying respect because it's my job. I have to do it, but you guys like just opted to do it, so respect and thank you for your support. But as we get kicked off here on the post-Mania edition of Low Blows, Rick Nash here in with Katie Harvey and Corporate Cian as usual. Guys, we all kind of remember Manias throughout the years. Where were we? Where did we watch? Who did we watch it with? And kind of the little memories that we have. What will be your personal abiding WrestleMania memory from this year?
I honestly laughed for 8 hours straight on Sunday. Like, I just was with a really good group of people. And we had 2 tables reserved, but we only needed 1 in the end. So a group of guys sat on the table in front of me and Phil, and they sat down and they noticed the reserve sign on it. And I'm just sitting there watching them like, do they know the table's reserved? And they pick up the sheet and I just hear them go, fuck. Fight Factory, get up now. And I just heard like chairs shuffling, and I was looking at me and Phil were breaking our snot laughing at this stage. So they turn around to look and Phil just stands up and glares at them. They were just like, and then we couldn't hold it, we just start laughing. I was like, lads, these are grand. Some of our friends pulled out, take the table, take the chairs, it's fine. And they were like, we just got a fright when we see Fight Factory, like any table but this one. And I was like, Jesus, like why do we strike fear into people's hearts?
Yeah, that's it. Like, what did he think is going to happen?
I know, like, but they were great lads. We had a laugh with them. So I just laughed all night. Like, that just is a good start to the night for me. Like, I watched it with Phil, CBL, Danny Butler, and yeah, we just laughed. Apart from after Kofi's match where I cried.
Did you really?
Like, oh yeah, I was sitting there watching it, and then Phil goes, "Are you crying?" No, I'm not. Katie, his kids just got in the ring. I'm gone. I just sat there sobbing until they left the ring.
And a little bit of swagger as well they showed. They were gassed, they're so charismatic. Like.
Straight up on the middle rope, hand up like The Rock.
And they're doing little dances and stuff like that. They were class. Corporate Cian, what is your abiding WrestleMania memory from this year?
Just seeing Katie try to play pool with fucking elbows, like, gas. I loved it, yeah. That's about it.
For anyone who wasn't there, so of course we had the trial by combat, Queen versus Cian finale. Congrats, like, you won. Am I right in saying?
Did I technically win though?
Katie lost and I won.
I won the pool game but lost the war, I think.
Well, you won, which means you lost, and I lost, which means I won. So, I think.
It's Queen versus Cian. Look, that makes sense in the Queen versus Cian universe. Basically what happened was they had to nominate champions. Cian managed to put a spanner in the works by nominating Katie. The reason we were doing champions was because Katie couldn't play with her elbows. But we hadn't stipulated that, like, he couldn't, so we went with it, and Katie nominated Cian in return. So then what proceeded to happen was one of the weirdest pool matches I've ever seen, but, like, compellingly entertaining. I couldn't take my eyes off it as two people just tried to lose the best they could. Katie just got the cue at one stage and just, like, swiped all the balls on the table.
And shout out to Jade for being my armrest.
It was like a fucking Desire video. Like, it's like, you can't hold me back. Respect, playing through the pain. Like, I was like, are you okay? Are you sure? Are you sure?
My champion who is going to be your champion?
It was actually going to be, I was going to tease Dave O'Neill, because obviously he's, like, really good at pool, everybody kind of knows that, and I was going to go, Dave Toner, just a lad from college who was there that night. I was like, fuck it. He's not even good at pool either, like, I played him before, I just thought it'd be funny, like.
Well, I had lined up Dom Tuck, who was also not good at pool, so our match might have been an improvement.
David Toner could have made a name for himself that night, but just last second I just thought it'd be funny to switch it around, like.
Brilliant. Some quality, like, the pool at WrestleMania was, like, top drawer.
Butch!
Yes.
Butch.
That was amazing.
That might be my favourite video of all time now. I've never seen anyone undress that quickly in my life. Like, I just looked around and the ball was barely in the pocket, the shirt was off, he was on his knees. I was like, what?
That was true happiness. I've never seen anyone that happy about anything
He
ever.
stripped like a lad who'd pulled for the first time at the age of, like, 40. He's like, I'm ready. It was brilliant, yeah. Of course, like, Phil, like, this is like Phil's kryptonite. Like, he's a two-time former Low Blows pool champion now. Butch won the belt on Sunday, if you weren't there. Won the Henry the Giant Battle Royal. But Phil's kryptonite seems to be when he, like, gets through a successful title defense but has an unexpected defense afterwards. Of course, at Money in the Bank he beat yourself, Katie.
Don't remember.
And then he lost thanks to a Money in the Bank cash-in on the night to Dave O'Neill. And then this time around beat Andy Mahon. What was a classic in itself, like. The first frame ended, I think, when the black and the white went in, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So, like, he was 1-0 down, had to come back. I ended up being a referee for some... How have we never done that?
That was gas, just to getting fucked out at ringside. Yeah. Amazing.
Done so well.
Get out of here!
Yeah, and then Butch came in, won the Battle Royal, and ended up... but, like, Phil was winning by, like, 2 balls. And, like, potted the black. It was easy enough. No one suspected a thing. The white just rolled into the corner again. And it was 1 frame. So that was it. Butch was champion. There you go. There's no other way about it. A lot of people were saying there's controversy about DQs. Titles do change hands on the DQ here. Butch is the Low Blows
Champion's
pool
advantage is
champion.
bollocks anyway, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah, so look, there you go. Congrats as well. There was war between, like, we did the Hall of Fame and then the video game, and it was Owen Mason and Brian Mullally, like, in the final of both, but it just happened naturally. Like, it was through raffles and stuff like that, and they still both ended up in the final. It was like a Rock Austin feud.
I think you need to do that entrance thing every show. That brought me immense joy. seeing them do the entrances.
And Justy as well. Alright guys, who's ready? Nobody cares. Justy was brilliant as host as well. I'm not going to lie, didn't recognise Justy when he first walked in. Hadn't seen him without the beard. And then he comes in and he's like, how's it going, lads? And I'm like, ticket. And then, oh shit, hey, Justy. Great night though, thank you. Amazing turnout. And yeah, just delighted, and we're here on another side. So we're going to be talking about WrestleMania weekend. There's so much wrestling to get through. Raw and SmackDown this week was like, seriously, more wrestling. Still. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, and we're also going to have a couple of big announcements. We always have announcements on our post-Mania show, so we have that still to come. But first, we're going to get kicked off with the news from the week and the things that have got us talking, because it is time for our hot takes, where we take the stories that have piqued our interest and give our lightning hot takes on them. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this underway.
Hot takes.
Alright, I'm going to get kicked off with, of course, the big news that everyone was talking about at the weekend was the guy attacking Bret at the Hall of Fame. Bret Hart, of course, while he was doing the Hart Foundation tribute. And as well, emotionally loaded, because Jim Neidhart, obviously, Natty was up there. She was quite emotional as well. So it was just the wrong move at the wrong time and got a lot of people emotional. But sometimes when I'll do hot takes, sometimes I'll come out and I'll be spitting venom. This week I'm not, because I actually relate to the thing that I'm ranting about. But it's kind of like deprogramming stuff that we kind of learned as kids growing up being influenced by wrestling. So, for example, an example of this would be the way we talked about women's wrestling for years and so on. You know what I mean? Where we'd be like, oh yeah, they're hot, rah, you know what I mean? And then we're like, wait a minute, as we grow old and kind of get a bit of perspective, and we're like, my mom's a woman. And it's just like, wait a minute, we probably shouldn't do that. Another thing it kind of came out, and I felt it as well, so I'm not giving out about these people, but people being like, beat the shit out of your man, beat the fucking piss out of him, kick his ass, fucking prick. It's just like, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right to me that is a go-to that we have, where it's just like, yeah, let's deal with violence through more violence. And it's like, as a human now who's kind of seeing the world beyond just watching WWE, I'm like, yeah, that's not normal, and we probably do need to get out of that. We did grow up and we're influenced by an environment where it's like, well, this is how you solve conflict. It is one man disagrees with another and then they fight. And it's just like, wait, no, that's actually not normal. It's not okay. For example, this guy's Twitter account came out during the week, and it was released who he was, and he's facing charges and whatnot. Look, the dude's not well. He's mentally ill. And obviously what he did was wrong. Yes, Jesus Christ, he's attacking a former stroke victim, a cancer survivor, someone who is paying tribute to his dead relative on stage at the time. No, I'm not saying it it's okay to attack him. It's not, clearly. But he was taken down, and then encouraging him, I hope people took him backstage and beat the piss out of him. That's not how adults talk. That's not good. No, he got arrested, he's facing charges. His mental health issues might come into that, and a judge in court will take that into account. But this is a mentally ill person. He's not in his sound state of mind. He's wrong to do what he did, but he will feel consequences for it. Celebrating people beating the piss out of them, or if people you'll notice on Twitter and stuff, if wrestlers get into debates with people and you check the comments, it's like, oh, I hope you find that person and beat the fuck out of them. And it's just like, no, that's not normal. That's not I know it's normal in wrestling, but wrestling's not real life. It's just, sorry, Keen. But yeah, it's just something we need to kind of keep an eye out for, because violence isn't the answer, man. It's not the way forward for me. I think, and it also makes us seem a bit scummy. That's, I guess, what my main problem is. It makes wrestling fans seem scummy, in that we're like, yeah, beat the piss out of that mentally ill guy. No, let's not. Let's just send him to court and have him, get tried and fair process and all that. He was caught. He was always going to be caught. And it made the Hall of Fame like slightly more interesting. I did put up because okay, God love it. The speech did go on a long time. I put out a tweet I was out on Saturday. We had the Saturday night WrestleMania in Buskers. So I'm just kind of ripping the piss, and I'm like, if Bret talks for 15 minutes longer, I'm going to attack him. And then some guy comes up and he's like, you're going to fucking die. And it's like, clearly a joke. Clearly a mess. I'm not getting down in it, relax, but yeah, no, just chill on the violence, lads. Let's not be scummy, or else we're we're being scummy in response to a scummy act. And then everyone's just a scumbag then. Anyway, moving on. Corporate Cian, before you start, please don't get sued here.
Well, so I want to talk about Jeremy Dixon. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't see his tweet that he put up, he's a radio presenter at 98 FM.
In Ireland.
Yeah.
For any international listeners.
Yeah, oh yeah. And he basically put out a tweet being like, fair play to Irish girl Becky winning at WrestleMania last night, but it worries me how many grown-ups don't realise that it's fake and that she knew she was going to win because it was in the storyline. So first of all, obviously I didn't understand this tweet in the slightest. I read over it again and again and again and again and again, and it kind of just went over my head. Eventually I realised, right, so he's talking about match fixing, and he's accusing Becky Lynch or whoever it was of match fixing at WrestleMania, and it is quite a serious allegation in itself. I don't, for me, I'd love to know under what basis does he think that there was match fixing going on? And yeah, honestly, I'm in shock. It kind of took away from the moment. I feel it's. I mean, imagine winning the world title after all your hard work, only to be told that was a fix. You know what I mean? I'd say Becky was devastated if she saw that. I don't think she did though. But just back to what I wanted to say though. I did want to say something that's slightly different. Yeah. Right, my hot take this week is actually not shitting on Jeremy Dixon, which is unique, I suppose, because I know a lot of people over the last day or 2 days, however long it is, they've had their exchanges with him. I just feel like wrestling fans take the bait way too easily. Way too easily. Do you really think that Jeremy Dixon doesn't know what wrestling is? He knows what wrestling is. Jeremy Dixon's a heel. His radio show, he's a heel. Adrian Kennedy's a face, usually, and then they get callers in that play characters to tell stories. That's pro wrestling. They have a pro wrestling radio show. He knows what it is. But it's just mad to me that, whenever anybody calls wrestling fake, to start some sort of shitstorm, it's like wrestling fans whose primary interest is wrestling don't realise when they're being worked. Which is mad. And
this is so mad and my brain is breaking.
But it's also I get it's like another thing I don't get is who cares what Jeremy Dixon thinks about wrestling? Why does that upset anyone? It's Jeremy Dixon. Most people didn't even know who he was before they saw the tweet. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's two ways you can look at it. For me, it's you could look at it in the way of it's cool, wrestling fans sticking together, uniting together on this one issue, and sticking up for each other. I look at it the other way. I think it's a bit embarrassing. We're really, really easily offended. All anyone has to say is wrestling's fake, and then it's just. If I wasn't a wrestling fan, I would get "wrestling is fake" tattooed on my arms. I would show it off to everyone. I'd be like, "Wrestling's fake," huh? And watch as the person flip out in front of me. It's like the vegan stereotypes or the feminist stereotypes of they get offended so easily. It's that's how wrestling fans are now. You know what I mean? And the points raised weren't necessarily invalid in response to Jeremy, but it's just why bother? Just relax, and people will stop being it's fake, it's fake. They don't care because there'll be no backlash. You know what I mean, there'll be no need to sort of keep bringing it up. But yeah, and for me, it's just Jeremy Dixon wanted. The impression I got was that he wanted the attention, and he got it because we gave it to him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just think we should just relax.
I don't know if he wanted all the attention.
So yeah, maybe one or two.
That's what I'm saying. He could have done it out some, but yeah, no, I hear what you're saying as well. This is it, and as well to accuse Becky of match fixing. She had a pretty good defamation case against him. Is all I'm saying. Anyway, look, moving on. I am very intrigued for this. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't know this happened until I got a brief refresher beforehand. Harvey's hot take.
Oh, this is on air. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get like a little light for me so I know? Okay, so obviously the Irish had a very good WrestleMania weekend. We had, I think there was 8 Irish wrestlers doing shows over the whole weekend over in America, which is deadly. So Joe Cabray, or Luther Ward, as some people know him as Cian, tweeted, "The Irish wrestling scene is only 16 years old, population under 5 million, yet Martina is killing at every indie show this weekend, Jordan Devlin taking over NXT, Sheamus, Finn Balor on the biggest show of the year, and it's all headlined by the man Becky Lynch." I think that's a statement we can all agree with. Like, deadly little show for our island. Finlay waded into this. And instead of bigging up how good the Irish had done, wrestling in Ireland didn't start 16 years ago! Exclamation point. To which Joe replied, 16 years ago there was no local scene in Ireland, there was no local promotions, no pro wrestling schools, we never had the rich history they had in England or Germany. The current scene started 16 years ago. I think that Joe is completely right in saying that. Yeah. I know there's exceptions, like Finlay goes on to say like his dad ran a wrestling school in Belfast in the 60s, and you know there was the odd show here and there, and like Joe's rebuttals is that, but that was UK shows by UK promoters with UK wrestlers. The current scene as we know it started 16 years ago. And you just know how I hate a Twitter pylon.
I
hate it. And Finlay like paused it. And like people like William Regal started wading in.
What?
Yeah, William Regal replies then, there has been training schools in Ireland for many years. Mr. Finlay, Dave's dad, has been training people for decades, but most people couldn't and didn't have the bottle to stick with it. I'm like, yeah, but again, like that's the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
You know, like that one school doesn't make a scene, one wrestler doesn't make a scene, and this is kind of what annoyed me about the Jeremy Dixon tweet. It's not what he said, it's the fact that here's us bigging up Irish people and people just begrudging it, and it's always other Irish people doing it. Like, so that's what I took from this. You had Lance Storm wading in.
What? Oh my God, I did not know this. How did I miss all this?
Lance Storm, please don't tell me people are arguing Irish wrestling history with Finlay. Like,
oh, fuck off.
He's not the authority in Irish wrestling.
Yeah.
I respect him, all the rest of it. I've been a fan for years. He's, you know, invaluable to the scene. But he doesn't live here. Yeah. And I think that's the big difference. He doesn't live here to see the scene. He doesn't know. Does he live here? No, he doesn't.
I was going to say, when has he last lived here? Has he lived here in those 16 years? Like,
it's to me, and then like then the cage match screenshots started of people saying like, oh, Irish Whip ran a show in 2002. This is what Joe said: 0 Irish wrestlers on the show, as unfortunately they didn't exist. The school came shortly after. And he's completely right. Yeah. He's posted screenshots of the card. There's no Irish people on them. So everything Joe... Oh, Vampiro had an opinion on it.
What?
I agree this is not true. I wrestled there. Yes.
In 2005. I was there. I was personally there in 2005.
Oh, 2006, as someone corrected.
6, right. Yeah, Jesus.
Someone goes, I did basic training with IWW 16 years ago. I'm not sure whose side of the argument that was for.
That's what Joe said.
Yeah, and it's just...
How did I miss this? Oh my God!
And this one I don't know if it's a joke. What about Hornswoggle? Not sure whether that's a thing or not. Some guy, we've always had wrestling in the UK and Ireland. We brought catch wrestling to the limelight. Again, I'm not really sure.
UK and Ireland.
UK, that's a different country.
And a lot of people say like just basically why Question and Joe had an opinion is I'm like, Joe runs the biggest wrestling promotion in the country. Yeah. One of the biggest in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, how many schools do we have now? How many schools do we have 16 years ago? Mm-hmm. But again, it's just, it's a pylon. It's an awful pylon. Like, Finlay has 58,000 followers, like.
And it's shit as well when it's like, you know, when like, we've all been involved in it in some way. And like, Katie, yourself and myself for years now at this stage, like, so we've lived this. Yeah. And it's like, he's right, you know, far be it from me, like, you know, defending Joe and all, but like, he's fucking right. And he is the qualified one in this instance, like, Finlay, like, coming in and being like, I'm Irish and I'm a wrestler and I wrestled 20 years ago. It's like, That doesn't matter. That's not the point he's making.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
and it completely took away from the point that he was bigging up Martina, Jordan, Becky.
Yeah.
But I'll leave you with my favourite part of the tweet.
Oh, brilliant.
Right. Someone called Ernest Crabtree. I'm not sure if that Crabtree was whose real name?
Crabtree.
Was it Big Daddy's real name?
I don't know now.
Yeah, rubbish. There were hundreds of shows every year throughout going back before World War II. Joe, by UK promoters. Nope, there were Irish wrestlers on Irish promotions. I've got details of all the cards. Joe, please share. I'd like to know the history. Sure, join my Facebook group. With a link. Now, at that stage, Joe stopped replying. I don't blame him. I don't know if he joined the group. I might join it for the crack. Apparently, there's an Irish wrestler in her. I've just clicked onto the group link, and it says British wrestling posters. Reminiscing about British wrestling on World of Sport. So, yeah, that was... it's not really a hot take. I just really enjoyed that whole exchange on Twitter, and... You know, I just don't like a pile-on. I'd like to highlight and just say that I think Joe was right. I think our current scene only started 16 years ago, and
he's factually right.
But I mean, a lot of Americans on Twitter, you know, are against us, so I guess they win.
Look, if Vampiro said it,
fucking Vampiro,
not remembering his own life.
Not true. I wrestled there! Exclamation point. I'm like, did you wrestle an Irish person? I don't know. Did you?
Oh, God, yeah. Amazing. Right. Great hot takes this week, guys. Good stuff. Mania always delivers. Anyway, guys, time to talk about the in-ring, and there is a lot of it. Starting with the worst of the week, because it's time for...
Say something stupid.
Worst of the week. In at number 5, one from SmackDown. And, like, I could put a lot from SmackDown on it. It wasn't a bad show. It was just a house show. It was literally like... I was exhausted watching it. I was just like, are we going to have more wrestling? Really? We're going to do this again? I'm going to sit through a 2-hour show? Like, it was just, there's been so much this weekend. And, like, they no content left. They have the Superstar shake-up next week. That's going to be good because, again, you just have new feuds, this, that, the other. Presumably there's going to be comebacks and stuff like that they're going to say for it. And, like, I heard it was an international Superstar shake-up. Maybe that was a few weeks ago where, like, they have NXT UK people involved and, like, 205 Live people involved. So there could be call-ups and stuff. So they've got all that next week. Raw after Mania covered a lot. In terms, and like, especially with the Superstar shake-up, they're like, right, there's no brand split for this week. So it led to stuff like Shane McMahon literally just killing time in the ring. And he came out for a promo and he's like, guess what, guys? The Miz isn't here. And it's like, everyone's like, boo. But it's also like, wait, if you remember the end of that match, the Miz did a move on Shane and Shane just happened to fall on top of him. So it's not as if, like, why would the Miz not be able to be here? Shane took the sick bumps in that match, like, and they were fucking sick. We're going to talk about it later. So I'm like, I don't get the point you're making, but also, like, there was, like, a whole 5-minute sequence where he was getting the ring announcer to say, best in the world, and he's like, that's not good enough, say it again, and he just he dragged him by the tie out of the ring, and he kept making him say it as he was dragging him by the tie, and he's like, not good enough, say it harder, say it better, and then he dragged him up to the stage, and then he eventually, like, made him say it for, like, he said, best in the world, and then, like, Shane just walked away, and the ring announcer's just like, do I have to just go back now? Why did I come up to the stage? It was literally just, we've 15 minutes to fill. We've fuck all to fill it. Shane, we haven't addressed the Miz match. Just do something. And he literally just did something. I don't know what that was, but it was definitely something. Anyway, in at number 4, talk to me about Takeover. Was there any bad on this?
It was hard to find bad. It was like a really good show top to bottom. But like I've talked about it before, and the commentary.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, they were all guilty of it this time. Like one of the highlights, he stuck to him like a spray tan. Okay, Grant. Someone hit something. Oh, he must be insane in the membrane. And I was just like, where are you getting these phrases? These are awful. Like it was awful. It was so cringy listening, and like just like talking for the sake of talking. Like the first match, Aleister Black and Ricochet against the War Raiders, and they lock up, right? I'm not joking. About 7 seconds have passed. A surprisingly relatively slow start to this match. Are you surprised the match started with a lockup on the first match of the show? It was just awful, like, and I actually took my earphone out at one stage because I just wanted to watch the match.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad out now.
It's interesting because then you get all the kind of NXT stands on Twitter and they're like, Mero! And Mero retweets anything good you say about him, so like it feels like if you follow him, it feels like the world is praising Mauro Ranallo. So it is interesting to hear that, and I did notice when I was watching it myself on Friday and then again on Saturday, I was noticing the little cringe.
It wasn't just him though, like like they were all a bit cringe. Like Nigel McGuinness is a bit cringe as well. Yeah, and like it just. They'd say a phrase and it would take me out of it because I was like, oh, that's real shit. Like, it's a
bit dads trying to say things they think are cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is whack. This is like, no, don't just say.
And you know, like the stupid nickname, like Sir Kix-a-Lot, all that sort of stuff. No.
You're cringe. Mauro Ranallo is the best man. I genuinely like. He's like my favorite commentator ever. Like, I love that NXT commentary team. Right? They're actually like the best.
Like, don't get right. I hear both sides here. I'll be the middleman. I hear both sides. Mero in a big match when it's intense and it's just like, oh my god, yeah. A main event, like, you remember that main event he lost his voice and he's like, he literally just like commentated himself out. So yeah, I do hear that. Mero on a big game can be fantastically effective. But now I can't unhear what Katie said. It's in my head now, so every time I hear an awkward dad joke, it's like, it's there.
Makes him amazing.
I'm trying to remember the most awkward dad joke I heard today. Oh, I can't. It'll come to me probably halfway through the show, and I'll
just shout it out. Mamma mia!
No, but I love the crease. Like, that's what makes it so good. Is he comes out with all this shit, and you're like, yes.
But we have this argument every week on Say Something Stupid. You like bad things.
Yeah.
You like cringy things. That's what you enjoy.
And I forgot Percy Watson was a commentator until about like the second match, and I went, "Oh, that was cool." And I was like, I forgot there was a third one. He just doesn't say anything.
He is. He's very much the other guy there. Because what does he have to say to the other thing?
Well, if he said a really funny joke or something really cool, you'd have been like, that was shit. So you know what? Maybe he's better off saying that.
Do you remember he was a wrestler?
Yeah, I do actually. The real NXT. The best NXT. The reality NXT.
Yeah.
I like how once a week you will get a shot for that. I love the dedication. In at number 3, I want to talk about G1. I was really disappointed. For a start, it was ridiculously long. I did not need 2 5 a.m. shows that weekend. And, like, it was irresponsible. Like, even the way they planned it, like, they did it kind of the Wrestle Kingdom way, where it's like they do the Rumble as, like, the pre-show, and then they just disappear for half an hour. And I'm like, lads, do you realise this is late at night, like, over here now? And it's like, you're just taking away a half hour. I could get home, I could be in bed half an hour earlier, and you're just taking that away from me. And then it went so long. It was over at 5 o'clock, and there was a lot of stuff. Like, I haven't watched Ring of Honor. I think I watched one of their big pay-per-views, like Death by Dishonor or something, about 3 or 4 years ago. Haven't watched the full show since. I watched bits, like, I watched the Young Bucks, Hardy Boys ladder match. I watched individual matches that people have recommended and stuff, but everything about it, like, just having Jay Lethal as your champion, it's just like, no, I'm not into it. Like, I'm just not, I don't see Jay Lethal that way. Like, if he's a mid-card kind of comedy guy, fair enough, but he's just not compelling or good enough of a wrestler for me to, if he's the top guy in your promotion, I'm definitely going to watch that promotion. But this reminded me why I don't watch Ring of Honor. This was like just stupid booking. Like the street fight, for example, it was supposed to be Bully Ray against Hughes Robinson, and then just people started coming out and just adding themselves to the match, and like not even like great novel people. Like they had the Great Muta do a return in the Rumble, which was really cool. It wasn't even like that where it's like kind of, you know, big names that are coming back, but they aren't booked on WrestleMania, and it's like, oh, I can't believe they got them. It's like Mark Haskins, who I've no problem with, but like me and Keane were talking about it beforehand, and it's like, yeah, he's a guy on the roster. It makes sense that he should be on this show. Like, it's like, oh, Leo Rush is going to be in this tag team match on Raw. It's like, yeah, he wrestles on Raw every week. That makes sense. It's like, it's not a novelty, like, and they're just like adding people and making it a 6-man tag for no particular reason. And like, it's like, you could have just told me it was a 6-man tag. I would have been fine with that. Like, it's a street fight 6-man tag, like, that's fine. Dalton Castle jobbed out to a dropkick. I did like how this match was short because I was like, maybe the show won't go 5 hours. It still did, but it seemed like it wouldn't at that stage. He jobbed out to a corner dropkick to Rush. Literally, like they did a basement dropkick and then there was a pin and the match ended in less than a minute.
I actually like that.
That bit was kind of cool. The fact that it ended in less than a minute. The fact that like a former champion is jobbing to dropkicks though. Like it's a corner dropkick. Like it happens in nearly every indie match ever.
I'm just glad it was Dalton Castle, and no, I'm just not a Dalton Castle guy, and I love squash matches. I'll get to that later, but I love squash matches.
Okay, fair enough. And then, the women's match. I actually kind of got into this. This is when the whole... So we're watching it on dual screen. We had, like, one screen was the Hall of Fame, the other was the G1 Supercard. We had the volume on G1 for most of the night. We did a straw poll, and not one person won the volume on the Hall of Fame. So I was like, alright, I guess it's conclusive. But then the Bret Hart thing happened in the middle of the women's match, so we're like, yeah, we need to switch over to this, so we did. But I was actually still watching the women's match, and it was good, it was fine. Then afterwards, like, we turned the volume back on as this is happening. The beautiful people came out and, like, dressed, like, kind of started acting like the Shield surrounded a ring. And it's like, really? The beautiful people? Like, you think we're going to go mad for that? You think that's, like, a nostalgic Royal Rumble style comeback? Do you know what I mean? It's like... No one cares about this shitty old TNA gimmick. Like, they weren't very good. Even Corporate Cian before we were taping was like, he's TNA till he dies, like, but wasn't a big beautiful people guy. Like, they just weren't that good, and trying to make a big deal of them and give us a nostalgia pop for something that wasn't that. It's like, oh, look, well, no, I'd say Mordecai's back, but, like, we'd probably pop for that because it'd be so random. But it's like, just so, who's like a shitty mid-carder that's, like, just completely forgettable? Like,
I don't want to be like disrespectful, but let's just say, like, hypothetically speaking, if Shannon Moore was that sort of
person,
I love Shannon Moore.
Yeah, I know, but would he get
but
the reaction?
Like in a Royal Rumble say situation, it's like number 30, and then it's like and then Shannon Moore comes out. It's
actually,
like,
as he described, I'd be like, actually, yeah,
it's just a randomness.
or like Mike Knox or someone. You know what I mean?
Mike Knox is a great one, yeah. Or you know what I mean? It's like, oh, was anyone calling for that? The Ring of Honor stuff was not great. Even the ladder match, like, it was fine, it was grand, but like the big decider in the ladder match was Matt Taven got a purple ladder, because purple ladders are taller, and then it's like, what? Why is this? And you know, when you have indie ladder matches, you just expect, you're like, this is gonna be mental because they can do shit they can't do in WWE. It wasn't. It was just like a pretty poor ladder match, and it's just like, oh, this is carrying your company, like. And then even the fans were like, ugh, when Matt Taven won. It wasn't like, it wasn't heat, like. And I'm not doing the, oh, it's go away heat. I'm not even saying it wasn't heat.
Nobody
it was just,
cared, like.
Yeah, they just didn't give a shit. They're just like, all right, Matt Taven's champ now, and it's like, if you'd given it to Marty, that would have got a big pop. Like,
I think he's leaving, though.
Or Jay Lethal retain. You know what I mean? He could do something that'll get a reaction here, like, you know what I mean? Or build Matt Taven up enough that people care. You know what I mean? Make it so that people give a shit. Whereas just no one did. And as a result, I'm like, I'm not watching it. It was a really bad ad for Ring of Honor in a really good slot where they should have stood out, and they decided to show all of their worst impulses here. They're basically TNA when TNA were horrible. Like, so, and yeah, it's really shit, because there was a pretty good New Japan show that we will talk about later on. Anyway, look, in at number 2, The Bad from WrestleMania.
Yeah, obviously I enjoyed WrestleMania. I thought it was really good. But it was tiring, and there was parts that I didn't like. The first thing I didn't like, and I mean, like, this is the only thing that, like, proper pissed me off, right? And I wasn't even watching the match because it was fucking pulled on. It was way better. Buddy Murphy losing his title to Tony Nese is bollocks, man. That is absolute shit. Yeah. I'm angry about it, and I'm assuming neither of you really give a shit, or you probably even knew about it.
I seen it happening on the night, like.
The
bits I watched the match, I thought were good.
I didn't get...
Wasn't as good as the pill, though.
I didn't get to see any of it. Yeah, that's
not an insult to the match. The pill is really good, like.
I didn't get to see much of the match. Don't really care. It's not making me more inclined to watch 205 Live. I guess he's kind of New York adjacent, though, isn't he? So that was kind of the deal. He's a hometown guy.
Hometown hero.
Yeah. But it's like really adjacent. Like it's like he lived in New York for 4 years during high school.
And the crowd aren't even from New York because it's like
New Jersey.
Oh yeah. I don't know, the whole like Tony Nese, like,
what's wrong with Tony Nese?
It's just not interesting. Like, is there any dream matches you have? Tony Nese dream matches that you want to see?
No,
there you go. Okay, that's all. You don't even need to elaborate on that.
That's a great argument.
Yeah, isn't it? I might keep that in the back pocket for future arguments.
That's what I do with Baron Corbin. With Baron Corbin, people always say, like, he's not a bad wrestler. I'm like, I know, but is there any match you want to see with Baron Corbin in it? Like, think like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega versus Baron Corbin.
Which, ironically, if Kenny Omega did sign for WWE, would probably be his first pay-per-view match. Like, we're getting Kenny Omega. We're getting Kenny Omega, Baron Corbin.
I don't hate Baron Corbin.
I do.
Like, when I see him in a match, it doesn't bother me.
I actually, like, during the next thing you're going to discuss, I said I'm a big fan of Baron Corbin, like, but I like his character work. In the ring, there's not much going on. Like, he's grand. Like, he's fine. He never has any classic matches, but his character work has been amazing over the past year. I loved him as the GM, like, because he's just a genuine heel.
He's arguably the best heel in WWE as well. He's genuinely hated. He doesn't, try to get, pops whatever. So he's good. He's talented. I'm not saying he's shit, but I just don't want to watch him wrestle. Yeah. And he was the man to take out Kurt Angle. I mean, I don't know. It's not the worst thing ever. I'm just kind of like, I want the John Cena.
I think we all built John Cena up in our head, but I think that's what made it better that they didn't do the bait and switch.
Yeah, and what we got though as well, like, I think was much better than what we had in our heads. Like Cena coming back, his slot, doing the Thugonomics.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, we genuinely didn't expect that somehow.
I loved and obviously, like, Kurt Angle did a nice little speech afterwards and stuff, and it was. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, I don't know.
Do you know what I liked about it though? I liked how short it was.
Yeah.
Because it's getting late at this stage, and you're like counting the amount of matches you have left, and then you're like, when it ended, I'm just like, oh, nice one. I don't even care. I don't even care that it's Kurt Angle's last match. Thanks. I just want to go home.
I like that he lost as well, because that is, you should job on the way out, and it really annoys me when they don't. Like when Trish won a title on her last ever match and then vacated it, I was like, why? Like, I just don't, like, that's how it should be done.
Okay, you're still pissed over that. But no, you have been saying it for weeks, to be fair, so you were right. Yeah, good call.
Right, so the last thing I didn't really like from the show, this is, it's interesting, because I don't want to ruin this, but I hate being that guy that, like, complains about shit, and, like, especially when everyone else is loving it, and I don't want to ruin it on anyone, but I also don't want to be the same person who's like, that was amazing, oh, I didn't think the main event was that good. Alright. So going into it, it's very similar to Devlin Walter in the sense that you knew Becky was winning. That was kind of the whole thing. In no world did anyone really think Ronda was winning or Charlotte was winning. Everyone knew Becky was winning. That was kind of like the end goal. But you still want to be taken on a journey where you're kind of like, maybe it's not going to happen, or, even with Devlin Walter, at no point in the match I think Walter was going to win, but there was still times where I was like, come on, Devlin, what the fuck are you doing, come on! And I wasn't taken on that journey. I wasn't like, the match just sort of happened, you know what I mean? And like, in the end, we didn't even get that whole Becky has her in submission, tap, yeah! You didn't even get to finish recorded, did you? I don't think you did.
What's that?
The ending, the way you record the ending of the main event or whatever, and like, you get that big moment in Buskers where everybody's popped. And
I had to like jump and
You had the aftermath, but I don't think you had the moment because it just happened. She got her in whatever pin, and it was a 2 count because Ronda's shoulders weren't even down for the 3, and that was it. And I'm delighted Becky won. I'll get to that later on, but I didn't get that buzz, that moment I was expecting. Yeah, I just found it underwhelming a little bit.
I have to agree. And look, it's shit. And again, it's for the same thing because I loved the moment. I loved that Becky stood tall, and I loved the way Mania went off the air where they're saying, "Where's me ma?" Like, that was just like the best ever. Yeah, it wasn't. And it felt like, do you remember WrestleMania 29, Rock Cena, Once in a Lifetime Part 2?
Thankfully, didn't watch that.
But like, where it's like there's something going on here where like it's not right. It is bad. Like it's I don't know if it's bad or it's just not clicking or what's going on, but there's something not right. And then it turned out Rock injured himself pretty badly. Well, Ronda suffered a hand injury. We've learned about that, and she's done now indefinitely with WWE because she has to go away and get that repaired. But that was also the plan. We also learned that the finish was botched. The ref fucked up the finish like it was supposed to be. I think Becky tapping out Charlotte. I'm actually happier that Becky pinned Ronda, especially if she's going like, because it should have been Becky doing the finish on Ronda. Like fuck, like Charlotte's going to be around for years now, so and Becky's already beaten her. So it's and then if it like don't leave that tangent where it's like, but you didn't beat me. It's like it's WrestleMania. It's the time to do that. So, but like there was a botch there. I don't think they clicked. I think they were a bit nervous going out. We've talked about Charlotte before. Charlotte is great when like the spotlight isn't on her and you're not necessarily expecting it, and she has to kind of prove people wrong, and she gets really motivated. But sometimes Charlotte, when she gets a main event or something, like do you remember the Hell in a Cell she had with Sasha Banks, and there were so many like kind of botches and stuff because it was the first ever women's main event period in WWE. I feel like we spoke about this like historically on Low Blows. I feel like she might get a bit nervous and like let the moment kind of overcome her a little bit. And I don't blame them if they did, because the weight that was on their shoulders. But I do agree, and it's not being controversial or trying to like have a hot take or anything like that. But it's, we do have to come out. We can't come out on our podcast and be like, that was the best match ever. It wasn't. It didn't click, but I was fine with the ending. So, and we got enough in WrestleMania that's like, okay, we got Becky. We didn't get the way we wanted, but like, yeah.
I also think the celebration was a bit short as well. It just kind of stopped.
They just went off the air
really quickly, yeah.
Like, that kind of took away from it a little bit. I will say this though, on the plus side, at least they didn't do the whole Stephanie McMahon brings out all the women and they clap together and hug each other.
I did think that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's good. Like,
Katie, are we missing something? What were your own thoughts on the main?
The bell rang and I sat there in silence for about 5 minutes, and Phil goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I nearly start crying because I was like, I didn't like that match. And it upset me so much that it wasn't the match I had in my head.
Yeah.
But I think I just built up so much in my head. But at the core of it, like, I don't like triple threats. I think they're very hard to do well. Like, and then you throw in someone, even though I think Ronda has been deadly, she's still very new. And to throw someone in a triple threat main event, you know, it's just, it would have been better as a singles match, even if it was Becky Ronda or Becky Charlotte.
Yeah. I
don't know. It's just, I've seen them do bigger stuff, and like, this is Mania when you do the big stuff. Like, there was no Charlotte like flippy moonsault to the outside. There was no big spots. Like, it just felt like there was no crescendo up to the end. There was no falsies. There was no. Yeah. It just ended.
That's exactly that pretty much was how I feel.
Perfect.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Nobody can take the Rumble away from us. That was one of my favourite wrestling moments ever.
That
was basically what the Mania moment should have been. So I mean, it's a fair trade, I suppose.
The past 8 months have been great. It's just that we probably did build it up too head and more than they were probably able for. You know what I mean? Because of the awkward stipulation as well. It was just strange though. Like, Becky went around limping for months. I was like, right, they're definitely going to do a spot where, like, Becky gets carted off or she re-injures herself or something and then she has to come back fighting or something.
Yeah.
None of that. They didn't mess with her knee at all.
Feels like a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
There was one excellent gif I seen today, though, of Charlotte had Ronda in a Boston Crab.
Yes.
Becky slides in, gives her the finger, and then I did enjoy that. And I did enjoy the buzz all the way through. Actually, what should have been my favourite moment from Buskers on Sunday was when the American National Anthem was playing and people sang the Irish National Anthem over it. And there was just a buzz all night of like patriotism, you know, like, and like the whole lead up, even the entrances, like I was crying during the entrances, and then it just, I don't know. I think I did get really excited, and I was like, "Fucking Joe Jett!" And the next thing I get a tweet, "Oh, are you excited for Joe Jett? Did you hear me?"
I just imagine when the national anthem was being sung, Kate just being like, Is that Post Malone?
Am I an old Irish woman living in a cave?
It was a bad moment and we're never going to let you forget it. In at number one, though, I want to talk about the bad from the Raw after Mania. I'm not saying the Raw after Mania was all bad, but the bad was bad. First off, Dean Ambrose's last match wasn't even a match. The poor guy, like, he literally just, like, Lashley came out and just destroyed him. And, like, literally, I understand, go out on your back and stuff like that, especially with Ambrose, like, you know, he kind of did say fuck you to the company. He was supposed to resign, decided he didn't want to, and was just like, no, I'm gone, I'll see you later, because he just didn't care anymore, and that's kind of his way. So I understand why they did it this way, but like, let him have a match, like, Jesus Christ, like, or there was no Shield moments, like, Rollins and Reigns won on Sunday. They could have easily just had Ambrose in there to celebrate with them, and like, just not even for Dean's benefit, for the likes of Corporate Nicola's benefit, for the fans. Like, he did have a fan base. He's a former WWE champion. Let people get that moment for him, rather than just like have him do a non-match. Like, if you want to have him get the shit kicked out of him and destroyed, and he got kicked out of WWE because he can't hang with those guys, like, that's wrestling tradition. That's fine. But like, not having a match and just literally like a 3-minute segment where he gets thrown through a table by Lashley for 1/3 of like probably the most important group that's been in the company in the past decade, and for a former champion and like a Grand Slam winner as well. Like, he's held everything in there. To go out that way, it's a bit shitty. He did do a nice speech off air with Raw, which you can find on Twitter and stuff like that. That was kind of cool. It was a bit weird though, but that was Dean Ambrose style, where he's like, he builds up the build and he's like, we did this in the Barclays Center, we did this in the Barclays Center, we did this in the Barclays Center, and the crowd are like, yeah, we're actually really important. And he's like, well, buildings don't matter. And then he's like, it's the people inside that matters. And it's like, oh, all right, I get where you're going there, but it still feels weird that you brought the building in. But it was nice. Lars Sullivan debuted on the main roster finally. He did it on Raw and SmackDown. This really, really bothered me. How often have we spoke about it? Like, the diving headbutt, when has that ever, like, ended well for anyone who's got involved in it? Like, Dynamite Kid, Benoit, Daniel Bryan, 3 of the biggest medical warnings in pro wrestling history. What do they all have in common? That one fucking move. We know it at this stage. Lars Sullivan's finisher, diving headbutt. In 2019, how is this fucking happening? It is ridiculous. Nothing more really needs to be said. The thing that made people most angry, I'd say the diving headbutt is probably the thing we should be most angry about, because that's someone's health on the line. But the thing people got most angry about was they did at the start of the show, they had Seth Rollins came out, like, do a happy yeah, I won the belt promo, the Universal title's back. Kofi Kingston came out and it's like, oh cool, like the double champs, they both won last night, feel good moment. And then they're like, why not have a champion versus champion match tonight on Raw? Winner take all. Now, if you watch enough Raw after Manias, you know they'll promise these big matches, like, and it'll usually end with, like, I'm like, right, no one's winning both belts tonight. They're not unifying the belts. There's going to be a schmoz finish. There's going to be someone's going to come back. Is it going to be Bray Wyatt? Is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? They're going to finish in some impressive way. That's not what happened. The Bar came in, interfered for no reason. There's no backstory here.
Make a statement.
Attacked both men, and then they just had a tag match and had the lads win. People were going mad. There was AEW chants, and people are very upset about AEW chants on Raw for some reason. I don't care. Like, it's fine. Like, whatever. People are gonna be mad at this. I'd be mad if I was at Raw. Like, if I paid money to see this show and I'm like, I'm getting a champion versus champion match. Even with wrestling logic, I'm like, all right, calm yourself. You're not going to see a double champion, but you will see something cool. And then the Bar out of something cool is like the most, like, the mid-cardiest and mid-card tag teams. They're great. I love the Bar. Nothing against them. But this team that are on every fucking show and probably don't get an entrance on most shows, that's your big surprise. It was the shits. There was some good stuff, though, and there was a lot of good stuff from the week to talk about. So let's talk about the good, because it's time for... Best of WrestleMania weekend. I'll try to keep this short and sweet first. SmackDown Live, I just like, and we'll touch back on this, when they keep stuff for the shows after Mania, because you don't need all the big title switches and stuff to happen at Mania, and there are 4 or 5 hours of content that you still have to fill in the week, so why not keep 1 or 2 things for afterwards? So I do enjoy that. The Hardy Boys beat the Usos for the tag team titles on SmackDown. It was a good match as well, so it's worth going out your way to watch. But just SmackDown had nothing. WWE had run out of gas at this stage. So the fact that there was something significant on it, a nice throwback moment, the Hardys are always going to get over. So the fact that you had something significant that they held back for it was cool. And also as well, I was like, why would they have the Usos defend at WrestleMania? I'm like, well, do you remember their whole big thing of it was like, we've never been on WrestleMania, and now I think they've won 2 in a row. So it's like, all right, they're actually retrospectively giving the Usos a bit of a good WrestleMania record, because it's like, alright, when you think about it, the Usos are probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Like, they're an important tag team for
Definitely.
WWE. Yeah, so like, yeah, they're giving them a bulky WrestleMania record, but like, they've done as much as they can as the tag team champion. So let's switch it up and like create a whole bunch of new matches with the Hardys. Liked everything about this. I was a fan. People are upset that it's like, why didn't it happen on Mania? What do you do in the other 5 hours then?
The Hardys weren't in the match.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't lose. They were the last 2 actual wrestlers in the Braun Strowman as well, weren't they? Or the Andre the Giant, yeah. The Braun Strowman.
The Braun Strowman.
2 big lads. You know what I mean? In at number 6, this is a personal achievement. I'm proud of you.
I am so happy with this. Holy fucking shit. CZW, thanks. So basically, I made a video back in November where I made a lot of petitions. The petitions that are going to change the wrestling world forever. I didn't really think any of them would. It was pretty much just a laugh. But it was shit that I did want to see, though. Such as like a 3-hour show, a 3-hour weekly show with Sienna and no one else. Didn't happen, but whatever. But then I wake up on whatever morning it was, Tuesday morning.
This morning, wasn't it?
No, it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
And I see that CCW have put out a tweet saying, petitions work. Not sure if she'll survive, but the first participant in the CCW Tournament of Death Tournament of Death 18 is Session Martina. Oh my fucking god, lads! I cannot fucking wait for this. I'm so fucking excited for this tournament. Like, I hope Session Mock kills them all. I hope she actually wipes the floor with fucking whoever's even in it. I don't know who else is in it. I don't care. She's winning it. This is so good. And if she dies, I take no responsibility. But it's like, oh man, like, how cool is this? Like,
Martina, if you're listening, you owe Keane a box of Pringles. You owe a tube of Pringles. Like, that literally happened because of Keane. So
He signed her up to a deathmatch tournament. I wouldn't be rewarding
I got banned.
She loved it. She ran with it afterwards. She's like, make this happen, make this happen.
Yeah, but
So
I got banned from Change.org because they're like, oh no, inciting violence and all. I'm like, go on. You want to see it, like.
You're like, normally I wouldn't say that, but wrestling's not real.
But that petition is so mad as well, because it's just like, like all the petitions were like zero signatures. One, maybe 2. One had like 5, 6, 7, whatever. And then the next one's like 260 something. like everyone wanted to see this. Like, Martina in the Tournament of Death is so
She's
mad.
mental, in fairness. Like, some of the bumps she's been taking recently,
Yeah.
like, I've said to her, it's like, I wouldn't do that. And she was like, I know, it's grand. No, it's not. You have a thumbtack in your head.
it's been there for a week. We didn't want to say it. We thought you knew.
It's gas because I went into college that morning. I was first one there. I was just on my phone, like, watching Tournament of Death compilations, and I saw one where a lad stuck a needle through another lad's like cheek.
So
Out the
his
other
name
side.
is Thumbtack Jack. He's a German wrestler.
Yeah.
I met him at a show in Holland, and I wasn't too familiar with him, but we got chatting anyway, and he was selling a book, an autobiography, and I was like, oh, why is a wrestler I haven't heard that much of selling an autobiography? It was fucking candids from all these death matches and stuff, and all these pictures of like, and then he showed me the hole he still has in his cheek from the syringes.
Well,
Nice lad.
well, I was watching that and I was like, holy shit, Session was going to be in these matches. Like,
What have I done?
but I still can't fucking wait. I hope she kills him. It's going to be so good. And I know, like, the Tournament of Death, it's not like, but everyone's heard of it. Even people who don't like death matches have heard of the Tournament of Death. It's like, this is a big deal. This is the first Irish wrestler ever in Tournament of Death, I think, yeah?
It's a really smart move by CCW as well, because a lot more Irish people are going to be paying attention now than normally
Not
would.
just Irish, anyone this side of the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's a big name. She's probably one of the biggest unsigned, like, wrestlers out there now.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's great. Congratulations to Martina. In at number 5, the good from the G1. I won't go too long here. The New Japan stuff. The New Japan stuff was really good. Started with Jeff Cobb against Will Ospreay, which I was like, yeah, Will Ospreay does really good big man, little man matches. This is class. Like, this, like, blew past my expectations of it all. Because Jeff Cobb he's obviously a big guy, but he can do a lot of the high flying shit as well. So it was absolutely fantastic match. Surprise win as well. I'll say it now because it's been a few days. Jeff Cobb won, and he's now never openweight champion and ROH TV champion. So it was absolutely fantastic opener. Dragon Lee won the junior heavyweight title. Again, the match was grand. It was a typical junior title match. What makes this significant and what makes this cool for me is Hiromu Takahashi is very close to coming back, to the point where in my predictions on Twitter I put like Hiromu comes out after the match and confronts Ishimori, who I thought was going to win. But so he's like, he'll come back any day now, like at least to do a promo. He broke his neck last year and obviously had to vacate the junior title, if you didn't know. The person he injured his neck against and his greatest rival in wrestling, like his Tom and Jerry, like kind of the guy he'll feud forever with, Dragon Lee.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Mad.
So as soon as that happened, I'm like, because we don't know. We think Hiromu's coming back. Everything seems to be the interviews he's given, but we don't know. So we're like, he's definitely fucking coming back. He's definitely coming back, and he's going to be fucking looking for a match. Brilliant. Love it. Naito Ibushi, just the entire match. They held back a few weeks ago in the New Japan Cup. I said it was good, but it's a typical match. This is the match they were saving. They were saving it for Madison Square Garden. Ibushi ended up winning as well. Like a lot of significant title changes. So Naito is freed up now. If it's entering G1 season now, so Naito has got rid of the Intercontinental title. Ibushi is the Intercontinental champion. It's great as well because there's a lot of completely fresh matches. Again, he's one of the big guys that AEW didn't get. And yeah, as well, the main event, I'm so split on this because it was like half a borderline match of the year, and the first half of it is just a really boring match, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm just grumpy because I was up late at this stage. So I was like, oh, I just want to go home and just hurry up, and there's a lot of chain wrestling and slow. Okada matches can be like this in that they build, but this just seemed to go on for a long fucking time on a long fucking show. It was Jay White defending against Okada for the IWGP heavyweight title. No AEW invasion. I was just completely wrong there. It was completely wrong. Okada ended up winning, so Jay White lost the belt on his first title defense. That's what I just didn't think that happened, but there you go. And then the finishing sequence, like the last 10 minutes of it, are absolutely glorious, and definitely do go out your way to see that, but you can skip like 15 minutes of the match and you've missed nothing. It's just all about that finishing sequence. So it was a good show. There was a lot of good stuff on it, but it just wasn't what it could be and what we hoped. New Japan and Madison Square Garden. Though again, like with the women's main event, it's like, did I build it up too much in my head, where New Japan fans expecting a show that they couldn't possibly provide? It was a fun show. It was entertaining. It just wasn't like, you didn't get the feeling that it's like, oh, New Japan's the best promotion in the world, like you do after a great New Japan show, where it's like, no other promotion gives you this kind of stuff. Like, it's just like, yeah, that was a grand indie show, and that's why it's in at number 5. In at number 4, Katie, you've been keeping an eye on a lot of the indies that ran Mania weekend. Yeah,
so I was trying to, but to be honest, there's a shit ton of indies that ran at Mania weekend. I had some help from Arnold Furious on Twitter, writes excellent reviews for Rear View Reviews if you ever want to check them out. He very kindly sent me a list of 3-star and up matches from his reviews for me to check out. There are 59 of them from WrestleMania weekend.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I am still actually picking and choosing from that list and what to watch, and like watching clips and stuff like that. From the few that I have seen some of ISW, which had Jay Money and Alexander Dean, so a bit of local flavour. Very good match, got really good Twitter reviews. That's on Fight Network if anyone wants to check it out. Penis Party was something I told you I wanted to watch. I still haven't seen the whole show, but I have seen bits. Have you seen the main event? Have you seen anything about the main event?
Is this the Caterpillar?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this involved wrestlers such as Session Mount Martina, such as Joey Ryan, such as Val Venus, such as Sexy Eddie, Priscilla Kelly, Scarlett Bordeaux, I think. Basically, any controversial wrestler you can think of from the last 10 years was in this match, and somehow got into human centipede formation. Like, I mean, they were latched onto Joey Ryan's dong in human centipede formation. So for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a film about where someone gets their mouth sewed onto someone's arsehole and they create a chain of people. Fantastic set of films. What made me laugh was I was looking through this GIF, looking through this line, and you get to Val Venus, right? And you know when you're planning a match and one person isn't on board with a spot, and you just know everyone else is ganged up on them and being like, just do it, it's funny, it'll get a pop. Because he was like forehead to ass cheek, looking face down, just looking like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world. Penis Party is really good if you just want like a fun show, because WrestleMania weekend can be very heavy, very emotional. So when I went on Twitter looking for recommendations, I was looking for like fun things to watch. So Penis Party definitely fulfilled that. The other shows I'm going to check out that I haven't done yet is Bloodsport, which I heard is excellent. It's the no rope tournament.
Yeah, I think Josh Barnett against, who's in the main?
Is it Gresh, Johnny Gresham? He's on it, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Josh Barnett's in, but it's like a grappling match. It's an actual fight.
It's proper like shoot style hybrid. And then the other show is Orange Cassidy's, which I've seen bits from already, and it looks really funny as well.
Right, excellent.
But yeah, there's a shit ton of Mania wrestling. I might keep watching during the week and have more solid recommendations for next week.
Yeah, there you go. And even tweet it out and people can see it that way. Like so, we've got who was it? I saw a stat this weekend, and it's like who wrestled the most matches over Mania weekend. So 4 days, LAX and Lucha Bros both wrestled 9 matches over the entire weekend.
But you know what? Martina mustn't have been far off that.
Yeah.
Because she main evented the Stardom show. She was on obviously the Penis Party. She was on a WrestleCon show. She was on like a shit ton of stuff. The Orange Cassidy show. Like, that's whopper. Fair
play, like unreal. And as well, just like again, what we were talking about earlier, the Irish taking over. So fair folks. In at number 3, Raw after Mania, the good. Love this. Sami Zayn. They brought him back. Now, at first it was really shit because they just showed Up Next and Sami's just walking backstage and it's like, what are you doing? Why did you do that? Like, if you'd have just played for that crowd, that's the biggest problem of the night. Like, why would you take that away? He comes out and he like does a baby face, and I think he fell in his entrance. Though I'm not sure if he was just that's a weird scam move, because the camera was far away. But he just comes out and he's like doing his little hopping and the ska dancing, and then he just goes down at the entrance. I'm like, oh no, he just Ultimo Dragon. Came out and it's like, all right guys, I'm happy to be back, and you're like, oh, he's going to be a babyface, cool. Well, I guess everyone here is into that. And yeah, he comes out and it's
They're
like
really into it.
It's still half time. Like, we have the United Barca game.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's way behind the buffering. But yeah, he came out and it's like, right, who's he going to wrestle? Finn Balor's music hit and they had an Intercontinental title match, and I was like, oh, that is such a fresh match. Like, it's an obvious match. Like, when you're putting, like, it's the type of thing you book in, like, GM mode on, like, WWE 2K19 or something like that. But it's like, I don't think I've ever seen that match. Like, that's fucking class. So yeah, I love that. And then afterwards he comes out and he gets on the mic. Balor wins and retains, and then he gets on the mic. It's like, what's he gonna say? He's already done a promo, and then he's like, you know what, guys? I just realized that WWE is a really toxic atmosphere. And then as soon as he said the word toxic atmosphere, I'm like, I totally get your character. I'm in. I'm so in. This is amazing. Yes, thank you so fucking much. He is that annoying guy on Twitter who's like, you know what? I find that this is all very toxic. And it's like, you're the toxic one. You're the one who's always in the shit. Like, it's brilliant. Very current. Love it. And I'm all in on Sami Zayn again. And also as well, another great moment. Again, we're talking about when they save things for the Raw and SmackDown after Mania because they have a lot of time to kill. Elias comes out and does another kind of in-ring concert. Love that. And then he just gets on the mic and he's like, guys, I'm going to need you to stop interrupting. And then, like, of course, the crowd interrupt more. And then he's like, guys, the next person to interrupt me will be a dead man. And then, like, he just leaves a beat. And then everyone's like, fuck off. And then it goes dark. And then bong. And then, yes, Undertaker came out. And it's like, yes, thank you. We didn't need the WrestleMania thing. There was enough on WrestleMania. This Raw after Mania desperately needed something, because for the first 2 hours, it was just a normal Raw. And like we said earlier, there was a lot of stupid stuff on it as well. So there wasn't much going on, so we needed this. It was fantastic. It was just a genuine surprise. It was a good use of Taker as well. He just came out and gave him a tombstone, and that was it. And he gave him a cover afterwards as well, which was kind of cool. Like, and then the crowd just chanting along for the tree. So I'm like, all right, are you undefeated on the Raw after Mania or something? Like, what's the deal there? But it was really cool and much needed. Anyway, in at number 2, which wouldn't normally be number 2. I'm surprised that this is number 2 this week, but I think it's fair. NXT Takeover.
Yes, that list I mentioned of like the ratings list, every match on this was 4 stars and above on that list. It was such a good show.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of big takeaways from it, like Pete Dunne losing his title to Walter. Really cool thing with all the UK guys sending out tweets afterwards about like how much Pete has meant to them as champion and stuff, and really just kind of like solidifying the belt as a really big deal. Because I think I said last week, like, oh, he's had it for 2 years nearly, like it's just a bit, do something with it. It feels like it's a big thing now. It's a big achievement to have taken it off it, so that's deadly. Matt Riddle's first loss, deadly match of Velveteen Dream.
That match.
Yeah. Not my favourite match though, which I thought it would be. My favourite match after all my giving out was Alistair Black and Ricochet against War Raiders for the tag titles. It just blew my mind. It was just amazing start to finish. I think they are starting to click as a tag team, and I hate myself for all the giving out I've been doing, but like they're getting there, you know. And War Raiders are just deadly. Only thing I didn't like, and this is a pet peeve of mine, is at the start of a match, you know, when people do the facey, like loads of counters, loads of reversals, and then like one goes to hit the other and they stop.
Yeah.
And they both did that, and like I'm just like, just fucking hit each other. We know this is going to be a hard-hitting match. Yeah. I mean, like, what are you saving it for? Like, if you can roundhouse kick him in the head, just do it. Yeah. So I hate them starts, but I understand some people love them.
What I think should be done now is, because everyone's so familiar with that there's a beat there that you can interrupt. Yeah. Like, if Alistair Black just came out and did a front kick to the face, everyone would be like, oh, what the fuck? That get a holy shit chant. Just because we're so used to the pacing of the indie standoff, where there's an extra beat there where if someone just interrupted that, it'd be fucking class. Like, yeah, so
and it still surprised me how much War Raiders can move. Like, they did the whole like they were doing that thing where like Ricochet and Alistair Black do something and then they mimic the spots back. They were doing like the up and over off the back and stuff, like doing all these mad dives. They're such a good team.
Hansen like did more freaky shit in that match than Ricochet. Yeah. Like, that was mental, like.
Yeah. That was my favourite match of the show. But I mean, everything was so good. I seen the main event split a lot of people on Twitter.
I saw this. I saw it happening because I stayed up live, and it was ridiculous. Like, I understand people's hesitance with this match, but this was a fucking good match.
Yeah, like, I don't get where the split. Like, why?
People don't like. People are they've got Gargano fatigue, and I don't disagree with it. Like, I wasn't necessarily there for the finish. I wasn't necessarily like, on my floor crying and like, finally he did it, because they messed around with him a lot last year where they turned him heel, and now he's back to being, now it's like, yeah, the past 6 months never happened. I'm a babyface again. Remember how much you wanted to see me win, like, last year? No, this is that.
and they did the whole thing with Ciampa and Candice and stuff at the end.
Yeah, I like that because that was real. You know what I mean? Like, but like, I feel like you were saying about the build-up to this, where they just kind of had to force a storyline. And I think people weren't there for it, so it was like, it was too little too late. I think that's where it come from. But, like, if you're going to be honest and you want to be taken seriously, this was an excellently wrestled match. It was a well-told story. Adam Cole was fantastic in this match, and we've both had criticisms of him in recent weeks, and they were both fantastic in this match. So yeah, that's where the split was from what I could see. I think it was just Gargano fatigue.
Yeah, and I wasn't into that match at all, and I thought it was good.
Yeah, same.
But it just wasn't my favorite. Like that tag match did it for me.
Yeah, it was a brilliant show. And yeah, like I loved, and Velveteen Dream's entrance as well. The New York, I love just it's just like, oh yeah, he's doing a WrestleMania entrance, but every takeover entrance is a WrestleMania entrance from Velveteen. Like, it was absolutely class. Yeah, great show. But pleasantly surprisingly, I don't think anyone would argue that in a number one, well, someone would argue, but in a number one for me has to be WrestleMania 35.
Yeah, it was a good show overall. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fucking opener. Not Hogan coming out. That was, I forgot to put that in. That was gas. I mean, I was dumb, but it was funny.
Did you see the tweet? Did you see the tweet up where it was like, "Oh, I just hate when you click your fingers and the big racist comes out." Inspired.
I fucking love it. And then what you call it? Obviously, the opener then when Paul Heyman comes out, and it was just like that buzz around the fucking venue. Everyone's just like, oh, "It's happening now!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Oh my god." Rollins and Lesnar, I love that match. It was great. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Lesnar went out the right way, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
He jobbed out for him, like, it was fantastic.
I enjoyed Shane Miz. I thought that was fucking really good. Because when I saw Falls Count Anywhere, I was like, oh, they have to do something. They have to. And they did. And I was really happy with it. I think that lives up to, expectations and stuff. Even like his dad getting involved, that's fucking gas. Like, I don't know, I enjoyed it.
I liked WWE dumb fun when it worked.
Yeah.
And it worked a lot on this show, like, it was, that bit was really effective. I was like, people were like, I think the people I was around, I think a few people, not the group I was with, but I think a few people around me wanted to be smarky about this. And I'm like, you're watching it. We're all glued to what's happening when his dad was in the ring. It's like we all want to see where it's going to go. We're all paying attention, like. But Shane's bumps as well.
Yeah, it was mad.
That bump off the car.
Yeah,
that for me that was the sickest bump he's done.
It's crazy because the Miz wrestled that match like a heel and Shane wrestled it like a face. But whatever way they were telling the story, like, we were all firmly behind Miz. It was so bizarre. Like, Shane was the one taking the big sympathetic bumps. Miz basically put heat on him for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like just kicked the shit out of him and won, and we were all delighted. Like, it's like, that's not how the story works, but I'm fine.
Yeah.
This is great.
The finish was really creative as well. Like, just having, like, it was just. Oh, I love that. Like, because when they have like the heel win, and then it's like, oh, you did that to keep the feud going or something, like, because we're used to WWE booking, but it was like, no, Miz won the fight, but Shane won on a technicality, so it's like, that's worse, that's more annoying. Like, I thought that was genius. Like,
I also liked the Iconics winning. I didn't like that I didn't put it in my predictions, because I nearly did, and I didn't. I bottled it last minute, and I shouldn't have, but I really like the Iconics. I think they're a great team. They have that chemistry, you know what I mean? And yeah, I find them very entertaining. And obviously, Kofi Bryan, match at night, I don't think anyone would really argue with that.
Fantastic.
Again, wish I put Kofi in my predictions. It fucking hurts I didn't, but it is what it is.
It was great. Like, they just they went out and wrestled exactly the match you wanted. But did you see WWE accidentally spoiled this minutes before the match went on?
A t-shirt?
They put out the t-shirt. It's a new champ. Yes, it is. They released it before the match started.
What? Who the fuck is looking at t-shirts before you're watching Mania? Like,
I know, but there is going to be someone that maybe don't do it. Like, I know they wanted to get it out. Like, do it in the middle of the match, because no one's going to search in the middle. But I found this, like, just as it's like, I saw the tweet pop up as soon as it's like on the screen. It's like, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Oh no, what the fuck? You just took that away from me. But it meant then that I got to watch everyone else's reaction, so I enjoyed that.
Oh shit, I have to apologise to that guy who I ruined his enjoyment of the match.
What?
He listens to the podcast, and because he bought into my theory so much about the New Day turning heel, he said he couldn't enjoy the match, and I feel terrible. I'm really sorry if you're listening again. I convinced myself of that bit of consolation. When he was going to unveil the title, I was like, this is it. This is Kofi's moment gone. Like, I was hysterical, but I'm sorry.
Lads, if you've listened long enough, you'll know we come up with these, like, conspiracy theories all the time. They never fucking happen. And if they do, we're like, I fucking told you! Because it's so rare. So, please, if you haven't listened for very long, take everything we say in predictions with a pinch of salt. We said ourselves, but it mostly doesn't happen.
I loved Joe versus Mysterio.
Yeah.
I fucking love squash matches. I think they don't happen enough in wrestling. Like, when you watch UFC, for me, one of the biggest appeals of watching UFC is the fact that, like, after all the build, it could all be over in 1 minute. Or, like, one wrestler could completely dominate the other and destroy them in, like, a second. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas in wrestling, like, right, no matter what the main event is, I know both wrestlers are going to have some sort of offense in, and it's going to last, like, at least 15 minutes. And that kind of, I mean, I suppose it's a hot take for another day, but I just wish squash matches were more of a thing.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect squash match. This is what Joe needed. Come out, beat the shit out of Ray, fuck you, and then leave. I thought it was really cool. And also, it was getting late, and I was really, really, really wanted to, like, get to the end. Yeah. So when that happened, because that was the one match left where I was like, oh, I don't care. You know what I mean? And then when it happened, I was like, yeah. Like, Oren went for a piss, and he came back, and he's like, where's Joe? Sorry, Oren, we moved on. But,
I feel like that's why you enjoy it more than anything else.
I thought he was joking. No, he was dead serious. It was literally that short, like. And then, obviously, Becky and Balor, the final 2 matches, 2 Irish, and both winning their titles. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Carlsberg don't do WrestleManias. That's like, that's made for buskers. Like, another thing I'd like to add to that, I really like Triple H Batista. Like, I like that from start to finish.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah, I thought it was just like pure dumb fun. Lads just doing mental shit, like Batista falling through the ropes at the start, and then like getting out of the ring again, going back around and re-entering normally. I love when Batista just lets loose and has fun, and that's what I felt this match was. It felt like 2 best mates going out, beating the piss into each other, but like enjoying it. Like the 6 spot at the start where he took his nose ring out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, worked on me.
And, yeah, it was like there's so much of that shit where they're just like beating the piss out of each other, but that's what made it good, because it was just like dumb fun. It was switch your brain off and just fucking enjoy it, like. And that's what I want from my Legends matches. Elias and Cena, like Togonomic Cena coming out. Brilliant. That
was the best surprise, and so many people were gearing up for CM Punk, and I was like, oh my god, they're actually doing it. Like, CM Punk is coming back. Like, no, I'm so glad it wasn't.
You really bought into that?
Oh yeah. Look, I was like 8 pints deep at this stage. I didn't know what was going on. Like, I tried to rap along to Word Life as he came out.
I'm not gonna lie, right? When I saw the baseball, my brain was just like, baseball, CM Punk,
Chicago, yeah.
Like, I didn't get the I didn't even know what team he likes or what team that was. I was like, he mentioned something about baseball. Oh my god, Punk's back.
That's why I went there, because
I didn't even know that was a thing that was being discussed. Like, jeez, that went right over my head. Anything else you liked from it that you can think of?
I always enjoy WrestleMania entrances. I like the helicopter for Charlotte now. It was deadly.
You like that? That's split opinion.
Really? I liked it.
Okay.
I just thought it was really over the top, and it's so Charlotte.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is that Becky didn't really have a special entrance.
Yeah.
But the other 2 did.
Yeah.
But again, she went out last, which was a bit weird as well, as the only person without a belt. Triple H's WrestleMania entrances are always gas. This one, I think someone tweeted, it's like he discovered Fury Road on Netflix like a week before WrestleMania, because it just didn't really live up to what he's done before.
Yeah.
But I just really enjoyed the show in general. Like, even though it was so long, it didn't drag that much until the very end, I found.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to give WWE credit for? Because this was a marathon show, but didn't feel like a marathon show, because they finally figured out, because I think the first 3-hour Mania or 5-hour Mania was 32, and I think that was an accident, because the Rock segment wasn't meant to go 45 fucking minutes. It was a squash match. So it just ended up happening to be 45 minutes or 5 hours rather than intentional. But I think they finally figured out the formula. I really liked how they had, for example, guest commentators so often. The reason for that was because it's like, it keeps you awake, it keeps you on your toes. Every match sounds different, every match sounds unique. They're mixing up the times, like the matches are nice and short. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre was like 10 minutes. Didn't need to be longer. We did not need a 30-minute epic there. Longest match was Triple H's, of course, but that's like a Mania tradition, and it didn't feel like it was that long either. But yeah, Joe against Mysterio, like you said, just keeping it short. Like, it was paced really well, which is so hard to do for a 5-hour show. I think we got, like, for me, it's the first great Mania since 31. Like, I'd put it that high. Like, this was a great WrestleMania. I'd put it up there. Where would you guys rank it, like, in terms of good, great, or just a grand show?
Yes, it's good. I don't know. I mean, I'm too tired to think of like WrestleMania 30 and 31, but they're really good. So I don't know. I was wrong. You're not wrong. They did pace it well and all that, but it was still however many hours.
7 hours is still 7 hours.
Yeah, I was really dead by the end of it. Like, so I don't know. It was good though. It was.
How would you wait? Would you watch this back again?
I very rarely watch entire shows back. I cherry pick matches.
Right, yeah, that's fair.
But I would watch Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston again, and I would probably watch a few of them again. Like, but that would be the main one I go back and watch.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. It was well done. It was as good as a 7-hour show can be, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they did it as well.
Someone had an interesting thing about how they should split it into 2 nights. And I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, so many people are doing it now. You got even, like, OTT when they did, like, WrestleCon. You've got, like, the 16 carat, like, and it works. And you can build across the 2 shows. Like, I think that would be a great idea if they want to give everyone the WrestleMania spot.
Yeah, and two main events as well. The only problem they're running into is they're trying to figure out how to even do the normal WrestleMania weekend next year. Reason being, SmackDown's on Fridays now from September when it moves to Fox. So they're like, how do we do the Hall of Fame and the NXT Takeover? So that's the only problem they can run into. But I think that's the right call. 2 good 3-hour shows. Like, just there you go, you're fine. And you can do an hour pre-show before both, but just make it all talking or promos and stuff. And then you get 2 main events. I think where they're gun shy about it is WrestleMania 2, where they tried to do 3 different shows in 3 different venues, and it was just 3 shit shows with like 4 matches each, and all the crowds are pissed off. But it wouldn't be like that now; it'd be different. So I think that's the way it will go one day. It's just getting there. Anyway, guys, that is the best from the in-ring from the week. Guys, we now have a couple of announcements before we leave you on low blows. So we're going to be making some small changes to the network and to parties, and they're good changes for you guys. So basically, we ran a lot of parties last year. Last year was kind of like we got our feet under the table. We did our first year of Busker, got our feet under the table, got used to the venue. Last year we were like, right, we have a lot of freedom here, so we're going to try a lot of shit. And we did, and we got to see what kind of worked and what didn't work, what you guys wanted more of, what you wanted less of. So now we're going to adjust. No Spoiler Mondays was something that I felt I loved the concept, and there was a few nights in it that really worked, like that, like the pay-per-view drew a lot of interest, and the nights themselves clicked as well. So I don't know if they work as a monthly concept though. It was just there's too much going on in Irish wrestling, and that's a good situation. So people are busy, and it just kind of gets to squeeze a lot of the time because it seems like every weekend sometimes there's a show on in somewhere or another. So I'm not going to knock that on the head completely. I do want to keep it in our locker for pay-per-views that it makes sense for, but we're not going to do monthly No Spoiler Mondays, which means we're not going to do monthly shows, which means if you're getting your network subscription, you're like, I'm paying €8 a month, what am I getting for that? What we're going to do is we're going to lower that down to €5 a month. If you pay €5 or more a month, you can pay more if you want, and we do need the money because this is what funds Low Blows. A lot of work goes into it, but if you pay €5, you get in free to every single party we run, and we're still going to be doing regular parties. We're looking at, for example, doing stuff in May and June. We're still confirming all that. We're working with buskers now because we're all just getting over the WrestleMania hump. We're figuring out our dates. We're going to be announcing them shortly. So if you pay €5 a month or more, you get in free to all the parties. So stay tuned to our social media for that as well. We're going to be changing things up slightly with the show because, guys, we've done a show, I think, every week on the, like, without fail, including Christmas, like when you include best of shows and this and that, since last January. Not this January, last year, January 2018. We've done Low Blows every single week. It's important to me, not just for, like, my own sanity, but, like, to keep the show fresh and where it's not a routine and we're not just kind of falling into it every single week. It's important for me to take breaks every now and then to kind of freshen things up and to kind of make sure, like, you know, we step back from it and we just go, what's working, what's not working, what can we add to, what can we take away from. So we're going to take a break for the first time. Don't worry, though. We're still going to be putting out content. We're going to take a break from the main Low Blow show. And look, a break as well, like, we watch a lot of wrestling. And when you watch it for, like, as part of your job, like, the guys could probably attest to this now after being on board nearly a year, like, it can become very routine and monotonous as well. And I think you do have to step back. It's important to step back from that and become a fan of wrestling again and, like, watch it in your own way. And, like, for example, like, me maybe not watch every 3-hour Raw and every second a 3-hour Raw and 2-hour SmackDown every week. Maybe watch the YouTube highlights or something like that and, like, get hungry for it again. And, like, as well, pay attention to other things, like it's the end of the football season, the NBA finals are starting soon. I'm big into the NBA. Game of Thrones is coming back. Which brings us on to what we're going to discuss. Because there will still be shows going out every Wednesday. Because we, from next week on, for the next 6 weeks, every Wednesday, are going to present Game of Low Blows, which is a weekly recap show where ourselves and an array of guests, like we're going to have Jerry in, we're going to have, hoping to have Justy in, hoping to have like special guests from the Irish wrestling scene in as well, come on and chat about the weekend's Game of Thrones episode. So the 6 episodes left, we're going to be doing it every single week. It's going to come out around the same time the Low Blows comes out because it's pretty much the same taping, and we're going to just have the chats. We're going to give our own theories. We're going to, like, I'm a massive nerd, like, about Game of Thrones, so I'm going to give you, like, backstory and Easter eggs and stuff that you may have missed on the show and give you a bit of perspective to help with your Game of Thrones experience. And yeah, so, and as well, like, what I'm excited about is, Katie, you haven't even finished watching them yet, have you?
No, I'm 2 episodes into season 7.
Right.
I'm still creating theories.
Exactly, and we're getting her totally fresh. You haven't been around for the memes or the jokes or kind of the theories or anything. You're watching it totally fresh. Mm-hmm. So you've never seen this before, so you're coming in and like giving a completely different perspective.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm angry at Jon Snow right now because he's just left the North. Like, I'm really pissed off at that. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Brilliant. This is like Katie will come in every week and like tell me arguments about Game of Thrones I've never heard. I've never heard anyone say they're angry at Jon Snow, like, but that's fantastic, and that's why we're getting you on. It's fantastic. So, Corporate Cian as well, you're a big Game of Thrones fan, but like you don't know the names of people and stuff like that.
I can't remember it. I don't even remember what happened. Like, I haven't looked at it in 2 years.
Wouldn't it be gas if it turned out he'd been watching a different show?
Where are the Vikings, lads? That's not it. That's not it. It's similar, but it's not it.
Yeah, so I'm going to watch before, so I do plan on doing it, so I'm going to watch, there's like season recaps on YouTube that are like 20 minutes long or something. I'll just watch them, and then, yeah, how many seasons, what season are we on now?
8.
Mad.
It's the last one.
And there's only 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Mad.
But they're all like movies.
Oh,
shit. Won't watch them if we tell him that.
yeah, this is it.
So wait, how long are they? Like an hour and a half then?
They're, well, not an hour and a half. I think the longest one is 1 hour 20, but they're all at least an hour.
Man,
yeah.
I'm okay with that because like, it's like it falls into my routine kind of well,
Yeah.
like Monday evening. You know what I mean?
So it's as well. You have kind of the nerdy perspective in me, and we're going to be getting Jerry and other Irish wrestling nerds, Game of Thrones nerds in to talk about it. But then you have the fresh perspective of Katie and kind of the casual perspective of Cian as well. Like, and just Corporate Cian talking about Game of Thrones as well. Like, he thinks that's real too. He thinks it's a documentary, lads. So that's going to be happening, guys. We will still be doing Ask Low Blows because that's not fucking work. That's just us having a laugh, and we're going to have our guests in anyway. So maybe they might end up hanging out and doing Ask Low Blows with us. Who knows? It's all very loose anyway. So, and we're still going to be doing our usual. The one with the podcast, Paddy's New Yacht, and Talk Nerdy to Me. Jerry's going to be doing an Avengers special now in a couple of weeks. And on this Friday, to preview Game of Low Blows, I go on with Jerry, and we spend like 2 hours breaking down the entire series. And like, I'll give you like, I didn't realise how nerdy I was because I know Jerry's huge into Game of Thrones. I was well actually in them. I'm a freak, lads. So, guys, get it, and it'll give you an extra perspective as you get ready for the premiere on Sunday or Monday. So, hope that's okay with you guys. What you get is a better show. You get different content on the Low Blows Network, but also you get a better Low Blows flagship as a result, because then when we come back, we'll be fresh and hungry and ready to do the show again. So, that is what we'll be up to now. Anyway, until then, Katie, you the weeks of planning. You have Five Factory's Next Gen show this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just going to give you all the dates for the foreseeable future because they're going out online this week anyway. So we have Next Gen show on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We have episode 8 on May 31st, episode 9 on June 21st.
Nice.
So only 3 weeks later.
Nice.
The reason we're doing that, we're going to have a tournament.
Ooh.
So, an 8-man tournament that's probably going to run over the 2 shows. There's surprises. I won't give those away yet, but there is surprises. Which is why the main event of the Next Gen show is going to be for a spot in the tournament. We're going to let one of the Next Gen people step up, and our main event is going to be Flamboyant Fabio against Phil Boyd.
Nice.
So he is going to earn his way into that tournament if he can.
Nice.
Yeah, Liam Royal Scrawn Dog Challenge is going to be back again. That worked out well last time. He really hates Scrawn Dogs. Mid-Card Mafia, unfortunately I couldn't ban them from the show. They're going to be there. I've been promised a Dom Tuck announcement. I don't know what it's going to be.
You might get a retirement, who knows? It's just after WrestleMania.
But the show is free. Because it showcases trainees, it shows people who are in their first, second, third match. We have one debut. A girl is debuting, a new female wrestler, so that's always very exciting. And it's free, just a few donations. If people enjoy what they're watching, just come on down to the gym and enjoy some wrestling, a nice 90-minute show. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and East Wall as well, it's handy. It's like, what, a 10-15 minute walk from Connolly Station?
Yeah,
like?
super close, yeah.
Yeah, it's Dublin City Centre, guys. You can't beat it. Saturday afternoon wrestling. What else are you going to be doing? What else are you going to be doing? You're not going to be doing anything else. Get down, Fight Factory, you get a class show out of it. Corporate Cian, I hear you're going to be making videos again soon.
Maybe. Did you say I've been doing this podcast for almost a year?
You have, yeah.
May, and it's April now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
See, it'll be your anniversary while we're on our break.
That's mad, isn't it? Holy shit. Whoa.
You haven't got sacked either, like, that's impressive.
No, that's crazy. Like. Well, yeah, like.
yeah. We have to include that. So, you're getting back to videos now as college is kind of clearing up a little bit.
Not yet. I still have 2 assignments to do. Then I have exams. And then after that I'll be back to videos. I don't really know what I'm doing exactly. I might be doing some non-wrestling stuff.
Yeah, saw that.
I got some heavy inspiration today before I showed up at Low Blows.
Okay.
Comments on a page. Will I tell you what
go for it.
Just a comment. You're so pretty with a very big vagina. I wish you're in my area. I could have pregnant you. So that's just. I mean, it's that sort of video. You know yourself. But it's not wrestling related. It's just some weird page I found. I was like, okay, well, I can't ignore this. Like,
all right, excellent. Cannot wait. I think non-wrestling content is going to be a big winner for you. So subscribe to Corporate Cian on YouTube. We'll be back next week with the first ever game of Low Blows, guys. But until then, for Rick Nash, Katie Harvey, Corporate Cian. That's the bottom line. Because Low Blows said so.